Good morning, Lebo. I'm Mr. DiNardo.
And I'm Mr. Bowles.
We are speaking on behalf of the school's effort to promote diversity, inclusion, and respect for all.
As you likely know, this Sunday marks the first anniversary of the mass shooting at Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. On that day, 11 people died in an unspeakable act of domestic terrorism born out of anti-Semitism and hatred of immigrants and refugees. It was the deadliest attack on the Jewish community in the United States. Prior to the attack, the shooter posted on social media accounts numerous hateful comments and targeted Tree of Life and its sister congregation, Dor Hadash, because they hosted the Pittsburgh affiliate of HIAS, an organization committed to a Jewish vision of social justice that aids refugees. Sadly, the attack in Pittsburgh occurred in an era of expanding anti-Semitism. According to the Anti-Defamation League, 2018 experienced the third highest number of anti-Semitic incidents since it began keeping records almost 50 years ago. Last year, an anti-Semitic incident happened in all but 4 U.S. states, with at least 89 in Pennsylvania. Equally tragic, Tree of Life was not the last act of terror visited upon the American Jewish community.
And yet, this is not the first time Pittsburgh and even the South Hills area has experienced this kind of violence. On April 28, 2000, a man who had attended Mount Lebanon High School and worked as an immigration attorney began a racially motivated crime spree that began when he killed a Jewish neighbor, shot at Bethel Synagogue, and spray-painted swastikas on it, then traveled through other communities, attacking another synagogue and a Chinese restaurant, killing an Indian grocer and a Vietnamese American worker, ultimately killing 5 and leaving a 6th person paralyzed.
In 2009, a man filled with hatred toward women attacked the LA Fitness located in Collier Township, shooting to death 3 women. Between the fall of 2016 and spring of 2018, Mount Lebanon witnessed numerous less violent but clearly racist and anti-Semitic acts posted on street signs and other property.
You are an engaged and bright student body, and many of you are well aware of these and all too many similar incidents that have occurred during your lifetime. We take this time to specifically remember the 11 lives lost on October 27, 2018, but also to remember the acts of beauty in the aftermath and commit ourselves to making a more just, inclusive, and respectful world.
We are inspired by the outreach from churches in our region who opened up their space for use by displaced Jewish communities, and by the connection developed between the primarily African American congregation at AME Emmanuel in Charleston, South Carolina, also a victim of terrorism, when 9 Black parishioners were murdered in June of 2015 by a young man espousing white supremacist ideas.
We are inspired by the vision of Rabbi Meyer of Tree of Life, who is campaigning to end the language of hate by the local and national response to the massacre, and share Tree of Life's view that out of this senseless tragedy comes the truth. There is more good people than evil.
On Saturday, October 27th of last year, I was having coffee with Noah Wheeler, a 2001 Lebo graduate, when our phones began binging, informing us of the events happening at Tree of Life. In our follow-up conversations, Noah told me about the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, which means to repair the world and actively work for the welfare of society at large. The student body at Mount Lebanon has often proved its wonder by living out that idea of service and inclusion.
We see it in annual ways through our commitment to holiday toy drives, the Thanksgiving food drive, and of course the incredible outreach and support to those in our community challenged by the scourge of cancer. And we saw it in those who stood with the victims of the Parkland shooting. Long before we entered the high school, past students bridged divides across communities in Allegheny County in discussion on race and religion, organized campaigns of awareness on unequal access to potable water, and even helped build a water well in southern Sudan.
We continue to build an inclusive school community anchored in the school board's commitment to creating an environment in which every student feels safe. The number of opportunities sponsored and led by Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Kolko show a deep commitment to service learning, and we are incredibly proud to attend school in a district that in 2013 expanded its non-discrimination policy and actively promotes the full inclusion and safety of all students.
We ask ourselves and you, is there peace in our hearts? We ask ourselves and you, what will we do? We ask that you join us in our commitment to never forget and to join our pledge.
We believe that Dr. King was right and that we live in a network of mutuality and that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. We believe that every person is entitled to dignity and respect regardless of race, color, religion, orientation, or origin.
We believe that every thought and act of prejudice is harmful to ourselves and others. We pledge, to the best of our ability, to treat every person with respect and dignity.
We pledge to be allies to those who are marginalized and mistreated. We pledge to reach out, listen to, get to know, and celebrate people who are different than us.
We pledge to continue to work to ensure that every student feels safe and is included at Mount Lebanon High School.
We pledge to ensure the safety, well-being, and inclusion of all students.
We believe that all students have value and merit our respect and care.
We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. We pledge to reach out, listen to, get to know, and celebrate people who are different than us.
I pledge to be your ally in our collective efforts to challenge and end hate.
I commit the entire school district to foster empathy and ensure that all students feel a sense of belonging as we build a just and inclusive world.
If you wish to help us honor the victims and survivors of the Tree of Life attack, to never forget and to build peace and justice in our hearts and community, join us for a month of events sponsored by the Social Studies Department on understanding and challenging hate. Join us in crafting and living out our pledge. Help us repair the world.